So you entered twice, or is this Carol? This might be Carol Dean.
Mm-hmm.
Are you getting a shared screen?
What do you mean shared, baby?
Like it should have the title of the slide.
No.
I have
Oh,
a picture of
yeah.
you
Community of Christ
and then
Priesthood
the
meeting.
Yeah.
slides. Yeah.
Does it show me too on that, or
Yes, it does. It shows you in the title. And then it
that's
shows
interesting
four
because
of
I
us
can't
on
see it.
this. You can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's on
I
my other
can't see
screen.
what's being shared. Huh. That's interesting.
I can see you,
That's
Jim.
correct.
Thank you, Carol.
We see
But
you and that priesthood meetings slide on one screen, and then we see the four of us on the other. Kelly, Carol, me, you.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't see the rest of us unless that's coming. I just
No,
see Jim.
you only have
Well, your
one
camera's off.
screen.
Your
There we go.
camera's off, Carol. I mean,
Mine is too. It's still not working. It's all fuzzy.
what was that, Kelly?
Oh, my camera's all fuzzy, so I just turned it off.
Oh, okay.
Well, my uh little icon on video is there, so I don't know what the answer is.
Okay.
So I guess this is where we're meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. You made it.
Yeah, they moved my thing I had tonight. They moved it to Tuesday, so I was happy.
Okay, I've got on the view everybody, but I don't see myself anymore. And I did take myself off at one time, but I don't know how to get myself back on. It's just a gray screen with a little camera in the middle and a line through the camera.
Yes.
We have.
Did you put a
Earl?
Kleenex over your camera lens or something, maybe?
No. I don't even know where the camera lens is anymore on this screen.
Um, hmm. Jim is probably
Jay?
up around the frame, isn't it? Of the screen.
No, she has to lift a thing up. She has to lift up there's a door she has to lift up from the top of the screen.
Well, I don't know where the door is.
Well, if you look at the top of your screen, there's a square area. It's about the size of a pack of cigarettes, and you reach around the back and pull it up, and and your camera will come on, and then don't inhale.
Oh gosh, baby.
Well, we've got Scott, Carol, Earl, Jay, Kelly, and Jeremy. And it is Kelly's birthday today.
It is. It is.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
27.
Yeah. It's the 28th, by the way. It's okay.
Uh, Either way, I can't remember that far back, so.
So everybody, I got oral surgery tomorrow at 10:30. So keep me in your thoughts and prayers while they're gonna knock me out while they do some work on me.
That's a
fun.
good time to get like 3 doctors together and let them all work on different things at one time. And
Get it over with.
Yeah. Yeah, they're gonna put a bone and some other stuff, build it up for a crown.
It's like fun.
Is that? Yeah. Ooh, fun. Hey, is that Mr. J out there? Jay Higginson?
yes, it is.
Yep, he's there.
And Earl?
Yes, sir. You know, I think I told y'all that I got rear-ended. My Nissan got rear-ended it in the other day, and today I found out after they took it apart, they totaled it. Man, I'm running some bad luck in totaling my
So that's
car.
two vehicles?
That's
Right.
2.
Oh my gosh.
But we just bought a 23 Volkswagen Atlas. So
Well, that'll be
so
total.
we have a ride. We'll suffer through having that one. But
I was gonna say that'll be
I just want this streak to stop.
yeah.
Are you a speed demon?
Nope. Maybe that's my problem. You know, if it says 65, I do 65. If it says 70, I do 70. If it says stop, I stop. Maybe that's my problem.
And you got rear-ended.
Yeah, I got rear-ended. Yeah. The young guy that hit me says, "Oh, I thought you were going to go." I was stopped. You know, I guess he just stepped on it. He hit me pretty hard, did more damage than you can see on the outside. So they totaled it.
And
Yeah.
Edna's here.
Yeah, I think Kim told David that if it's a yellow light, looking back at you to make sure the guy's gonna stop before you. It's terrible, but there's some pretty aggressive drivers here in Texas.
Well, go to DC and you'll think it's pretty mild here. Every time I go back there to visit our son, mercy.
Hey, Edna.
Still no luck,
Yeah,
Carol.
there's Edna.
Carol White.
She's gray. Picture.
And
So Edna,
Pennsylvania people.
So Edna, I'm hopeful to be at camp to play games, but I do have found out I have an oral surgery tomorrow at 10:30, so I don't know if I'll be in shape for it or not.
Edna, you're muted.
I think you got to turn yourself up, Edna. We can't hear anything.
Okay. Well, I got to make some co-hosts here. So,
And on the audio button, there's like a little tiny like caret, like a little up arrow. If you click on that, sometimes we need to change the microphone because it doesn't look like it's picking up the microphone on your headphones or your computer. So you might want to try that. You'll see something that says select a microphone, and you might be able to. Then we might be able to hear you. 'Cause it looks like you're probably hearing us. Because it seems like, okay, we just can't hear you. So there's that audio button on the left bottom corner, and then there's like a tiny little arrow that's pointing up. If you click on that arrow, you might be able to change your microphone.
There they go. I did.
So
I rock.
There's Misty and Ralph.
we're here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13 of us, and that's over half. So
All right.
the notice went out to 24.
So, Jim, you want me to start 7:31?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna try and share my screen. So I know that there's
I may have to stop sharing mine.
Yeah. Let me see if it'll let me. Now that you
Try. It should let both of us share, but I don't know. We don't know what the results of that will be. This is a learning experience.
Yeah, it says allow multiple presenters to share, so I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
What was that?
Okay, how does that show up for you all? Can you see the
Ooh.
window?
Looks
Fine
good.
for me.
Okay.
Bingo.
So
I can
as
see
we
there's something there.
you can see something. Okay.
The bingo
As we
thing.
start to gather, before we start, Jim kind of asked me to just kind of come up with some sort of activity to kind of help build into that time. I thought it might be a good idea for us to try and do the behavioral bingo together as a group, see if we have any. So the way I kind of envision this is somebody has one that you can see. We'll just go ahead and share some, and then we'll see if we can get bingo. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to see. Oh, and you might hear a baby crying for a little bit.
Wonder where that would come from.
Yeah. So, can you all see my screen with the behavioral bingo?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Do we have any? Does anybody have one where they felt like they did one of these things today or this week? We'll count all the way from Monday as well.
I donated some items.
I was gonna say that's what I did.
Donated some items. All right, we got B. I'm trying to see. I know with Zoom sometimes I can annotate, but I don't know if I can. I have that option. Do you know?
I think you do.
Okay, I'm trying to see. Patience. All right, I'm not seeing it, but we'll kind of play it. I'll just kind of remember it. All right, so we got a B. We got B1 donated items. We heard a couple people say that.
Okay,
Go ahead, Carol.
I accepted a compliment graciously.
Accepted.
And up there in the shared a moment of vulnerability, does that mean I was vulnerable when I shared?
Sure. Or you
Okay,
could
no.
be, or somebody else if you were there.
Well, I was in we were in
listening.
a vulnerable situation. Most all of us were vulnerable.
Mhm.
So I did that.
All right, so we've got a B in the corner, O in the corner, and then O over here. I know I'm trying to find if I can annotate. That would make it a little bit easier to see, but
Jeremy, I've got a in column I, the fostered common consent on the top.
I have in column G, assisted the poor.
Okay.
We're going faster than you can annotate.
Yeah, well, I haven't figured out how to annotate yet, actually.
Jeremy,
I
I have,
actually,
I've
the gray
listened to a
space.
differing,
Okay, go ahead, Carol.
I have listened to a differing view on I.
Oh, wow. That's good.
I have expanded my understanding of God under B.
Good, good.
I have opened myself to God's guidance.
Oh, we got quite a few O's.
And respectful.
I think we got 3 of them already.
Well, I have another O. I shared compassion just today.
Oh, wow. We're very close to a bingo, everybody. Did anybody mediate some disagreement?
Yes,
You seem very excited about that. Was that a
I
skill?
do that every day at
I
work.
At school.
Yeah, I do too.
Every flippin' day.
My classroom is kind of like a little office, and it's right by the boys' restroom, and so I have to step out and mediate a lot of disagreements and get a lot of little boys to behave like they're supposed to in the restroom. That happens quite a bit already. So,
So,
all
so
right.
it doesn't say excited about mediating disagreement. It's just that you did
Oh,
mediate
yeah,
the
we-
disagreement. Good for
We're
you.
pursuing some peace for sure. I think Kathleen and I are pursuing peace often. It's part of the job description.
Yeah.
Right.
Indeed.
I assisted the poor and invited somebody to church.
Oh, awesome.
Well, I will tell you, I'm pretty sure that Audrey and Addison will not be joining us tonight because I am aware that tonight on the Graceland campus is messy games. It's like
Oh,
play in the
Oh,
mud.
gosh.
yeah, that's
You know,
a
like
very muddy
volleyball
time.
in the mud or something. So I'm fairly certain they're unavailable.
Yeah, and they don't know if we want to see them in all the mud.
I mean, I would,
Yeah.
but maybe not in the middle of a priesthood meeting.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Well, God accepts us just like we are, so we need to accept everybody else just like they are.
You know, if they join the meeting, they'd be able to say in explored nature.
That's
They'd be able to
true.
check that one off.
Yeah, right.
There you
The
go.
mud.
Definitely explored a lot of nature during the messy games. Yeah.
Well, which one are we missing on O?
Oh, we got them all on O actually. So we did make bingo. So
Oh,
I was just
okay.
seeing if we had any others.
Yeah.
We're doing good. We have about 1 more minute until we move on. Maybe Phoebe will give a quick little visit for just a second.
How do we ever say no to plastic? It's everywhere.
Yeah.
I think
When I order a
reducing it,
drink and they
right?
offer me a straw, I say no, thank you.
Yep, we do
Yep,
that too.
that's one way.
Okay, I can eliminate a piece of plastic in my day, but to
Yes.
eliminate all plastic, I don't think there's any way I
There
could.
are other states in the union that do not, they make you pay for plastic bags if you want your groceries in plastic bags. You have to bring your own.
Yeah, Brownsville used to do that. And then the state of Texas sued them.
Sued him for doing a good
we were
thing.
so close to South Padre Island, but all right.
Well, I know. Hey,
Phoebe.
Oh,
Hi, Phoebe.
Hello.
Oh my gosh, look at how big she's gotten.
Glad you could join us, Phoebe.
I'm glad she's happy. She's kind of entered a cranky phase in the
teething.
evenings.
Teething.
I think she might be starting the teething adventure.
Oh.
So.
Oh.
May
right,
need
well,
to
I
add
want
you to the prayer concern list.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully. I want to thank you all for joining us. next I'm gonna ask that you all join me in prayer as we begin to start our priesthood meeting. Dear Heavenly Creator, we thank you for this opportunity to come together as leaders in our community and coming together to connect, to learn, to share, to listen, to brainstorm and just continue to grow as servants of your mission and your peace. May we seek your guidance and love as we maybe hear opinions that are different than ours or ideas that are different than ours, but may that help shape us, and may that we all continue to see with your eyes and see forward that we are together as a community of Christ. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. Before Carol starts, I want to say I have turned recording on. That's unusual. In most of our things, we would not turn recording on. But there are half the priesthood here tonight and half that are not. And the intention is for us to decide if this is okay. And if it is okay, we'll do this with the idea. My idea is that the recording will only be viewed by our priesthood members. Meaning if one of you wanted to review something that was said tonight or is said tonight, or if one of the priesthood members who's not here wants to, they can view it. But it's not for sending to anybody else, and it's not for not to intimidate anybody. And if somebody wants to say something that you would like the recording paused, let me know. We'll pause it, and then you can say, I don't want it to intimidate anybody. And with that now, let me share the share. There. As you see, we are now at a section here for World Church News, and Carol will be talking about that.
Somebody got hearing background noise? There we go.
Okay. First of all, I'm going to talk about the Coastal Bend Mission Center. We have a website. You just Google it and it'll come up. And there's all kinds of good information there. There's a calendar if you want to know when a retreat is, or pretty soon they will have the dates once they get them finalized for reunion and camps for next year, 2026. They'll be on there. Like right now, there's a spiritual retreat on September 27th from 9 to 11 in the morning. That's a Saturday. And you can go to their homepage and find out how to register for it. Just to let you know, Mondays at 8 a.m. every week, there are coffee chats. You just can go for details to the website and find out how to join. And it's just friendly socialization. On the second and fourth Thursdays at 8 p.m., young adult coffee talks. So you won't be able to go to the fourth Thursday because you're going to be here. But you could go to the second Thursday of the month for young adult, if you're a young adult. That lets a bunch of us out, I think. But anyway. And that's hosted by
You mean 80 is not young? You mean 80 is not young? Wow.
So that's hosted by Jacob Ross from the Houston area. And Then, as a result of our most recent World Conference, I'm going to read the names of the people that are now over us, so to speak. Coastal Bend is one of 36 mission centers who share leadership support from Apostles Matt Frizzell, Cat Nation, Richard James, Carrie Welsh, with support from Lachlan McKay and Shannon McAdam. Presidents of 70, Karen Peter and Joelle White, and Hispanic Leadership Support, President of 70, John Glazer. And Moana Faana is the CBMC Field Support Minister. So I had to really dig. I think that information is all correct, but I really had to look for it. But I want to encourage you to go to our World Church website. If you haven't been there lately, some people have really done a lot of work, and there's wonderful stuff there. And there's sermons. If somebody woke up sick, if our speaker woke up sick one morning, we could easily go there on the church website and pull up a sermon or a disciples' generous response, a video, or it's just got lots of good information. There's also on the website a Center for Innovation in Ministry and Mission, CIMM, and they have all kinds of 1 hour presentations that you get through Graceland University and the seminary. It's focused on creating non-credit opportunities for adult theological education, ministerial training, and leadership development in an effort to empower and inspire disciples and leaders to become radical practitioners of the mission of Jesus Christ. And CIMM offers a variety of programs tailored to different levels of experience and areas of interest. So I posted a list of all of the different things you can go and the dates of them. And it's on our bulletin board at church. I posted it last weekend. So I would ask you to check it out. There might be something on there that you would like to view. And like I said, it just takes about an hour for most of them. They're free sessions. Mm-hmm.
And as the temple school coordinator, they offer priesthood classes through that same means of CIMM. So if at all possible, please plan if you think you're going to be called to such and such, or you are called to make sure to sign up for those classes through CIMM, as well as, that is as the temple school coordinator. A lot of those temple school classes are offered through CIMM.
It says that, so you can see the upcoming schedule and register. You register at www.graceland.edu/CIMM session. It's a 1 hour, in most cases, on Zoom, and includes a content expert presentation along with a short question and answer time. So, another thing, the 2026 Community of Christ Peace Award has been decided. It's going to go to Bill McKibben, who will be the Community of Christ Peace Award recipient. He co-founded 350.org. It's the first global grassroots climate campaign, and he's been instrumental in the fight against oil pipelines and in advancing the fossil fuel divestment movement. And he will be presented the award at the 2026 Peace Forum. That's in October 16th through the 18th of October, 2026 at the Temple. He's written a bunch of books too. Bill McKibben. I think that's it for me. Oh, one other thing. No, it wasn't. It wasn't all. Another wonderful place, a wonderful tool that we have is Center, Toronto Center Place, CENTRE. You've heard of the Beyond the Walls Choir. You can find their music there. You can find wonderful lectures by John Hamer. And there's just all kinds of good stuff on that site. So I would urge you to check it out. That's it.
You should be receiving the World Church News through Kim. She's the congregational officer who sends those out to everybody.
Well, I haven't gotten any of that stuff, so I just want to make people aware of it.
I've submitted the schedule of activities and things through CIMM before, so.
That's it.
Okay, Carol. Let me see if I can see what you're seeing. Okay, you should be seeing me, and you should be seeing the slide side by each. And the slide is going to be telling you that we're going into the main topic phase. We really want to have priesthood meetings have an agenda that's responsible and accountable for your time. We thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your investing time with us. And I hope you understand a lot of time has been invested in making this possible as well. So you should have received something that, during COVID, we found out this acts like a mask sometimes. You should have received a PDF file that's about 50 pages long. And I would encourage you to print that out if you haven't. Down on the bottom of each of those pages is a number as a page number. It really only ties to this copy that I have and that you have. Page 17 means nothing anywhere but in this copy. So if you don't have yours handy, the easiest thing you can do is get a piece of paper, and while we're going through and talking about some of these things, you can ask what page we're on. I'll try to give you the pages that are appropriate as we go through this. And then you can open up your copy. The page number will be the same, and you can see what we're talking about, because some of them it's going to be 2-3 pages or 8 pages long, and you can't read that fast. I can't read that fast. In fact, I don't think I could talk that fast. So anyway, we'll be talking from this document pretty much. The topic tonight that we're going to be emphasizing is worship and priesthood ethics. Those are on that first page of about page from the church that Carol pointed out, seaofchrist.org, and you can look at seaofchrist.org and ministry helps, and the other thing is the Herald House there, and you can get those things to help you in your ministry, and we'll be talking about doing that tonight. So it's a SharePoint thing. It's not available to anyone in the world. It's available to the priesthood and to members who have tasks and jobs and things like that. That means you have to register. It's a simple registration. I've had to do it 3 times. Now, that's particularly strange. Carol's done it once. Others of you may have done it once. I doubt anybody here has done it twice, but maybe Richard. And I don't know. I haven't talked to him about it, but it's based on your email. And for a while, I had, because I was considered a church employee, I had a church email, so I had to redo it. And then when I no longer was a church employee and lost that email, I had to go back to my normal email. I had to do it again. It worked fine each time. It's not a bad thing to have to do. And I think you can have it done within 24 hours, something like that. So you can get into the church, the SharePoint site. The first thing on page 3 of your document are covenant principles for faithful priesthood ministry, and I highly recommend that you study those. Those are covenant principles that you are assumed to have accepted and be living by. And I'm not going to read them all, but I'll read some of them, and you'll find that there are support for you in this document. One is model generosity, model an ethical, moral, and holistic lifestyle, affirm and promote Christ's mission of invitation, compassion, ministries, compassionate ministries, and justice and peacemaking. And those would be things. That's things we are supposed to do and are assumed that we will do. One of the things that I haven't heard at any like men's retreat or other thing like that is develop and implement a plan for ministry that uses my gifts to advance Christ's mission. That's me developing and implementing a plan for me that helps me use my gifts to advance Christ's mission. Those ministry plans, I have done 3 of them, and two were for Apostle Nii, went to him, and one went to Russ when he was Mission Center president. So, and that's over the last 5 years. So I should have done 5 in that period of time because you're supposed to do them annually. And so I'm falling behind, but I'm going to bet that probably not very many of us have done any. And I would really highly recommend that we look into that and do that. It helps you focus during the year. It helps you focus on the things that you, at least at one time, thought seriously were helpful to you to minister to people. The next is on page 4, and these are some things that would help all of us too. They're best practices for guest ministry, and guest ministry is if somebody from Northwest Houston called me and asked me would I speak to them. That's pretty okay, and that really is something that would be neat, should be monitored, and that Richard would be aware of because he's the Mission Center president. But I'm going back to Sacramento at some point here, and if somebody from Sacramento wanted me to preach, the right thing for them to do is to talk to their Mission Center president, who then says we have a request for Jim Burdick from Colston Bend to speak here, who would then go to one of the apostles over, it's the United States wide, go over to one of them, who would then come down to Richard and say, Richard, what do you have about Jim do you think he would be okay to preach in Sacramento? And Richard could say, no, he wouldn't do it. And then, but he could say yes. And then everything's handled, and it's okay. If somebody came into our congregation and said, I'm an elder from Boise, Idaho, and we don't know anybody in Idaho, and we don't know if this person's an elder from Boise, Idaho, or a former elder, or never elder, we could be convinced to let them speak because of availability, and then that might not work out. And the reason I would say it wouldn't work out is because we didn't follow the procedure. So I would say everybody should follow this procedure. You might be asked, I know somebody, I know two people here who were asked to perform marriages in other states. And that this again goes with, let's do this the right way. And so I would say, if you could read this and do the best practices that that help guide that this works out correctly. Any thoughts or questions on any of that? That's page 4. Man, we're sailing through this 50-page document.
Jim, I do have a question. How long does
Yeah.
the procedure take?
Well, when I did it, I can't speak for Richard, but when I did it, usually about 48 hours. It's not something that you get on somebody's calendar and schedule and stuff like that. It's Richard, do you want to comment?
I would agree with that timeline. I think it's to a certain extent it's going to come down to availability, as we know, since it's volunteer efforts. But yeah, this should be a relatively straight forward turnaround time, and something that can be. And I've seen Dave Nehe before, but Moana is very responsive whenever there are requests with needs that are at the world church level or across jurisdictional level.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
I'd like to say the ministry plans are covered within the temple school classes themselves, oftentimes with the priesthood offices. And, I know I had to submit ministry plans to the mission center president in the past with Russ. I know that, they can also be between the pastor and the minister as well. Another thing is what were you saying? The best practices on getting approval. I know there for a while it was like Kim and I would preach in our home congregations, and it was given basically an okay from the Russ and the and Dave Nee. I don't know about how that will work in the future. If we'll have to go individually every time we go back to our home congregation that asks us to preach and have to go through that process. And that'll be kind of Richard's, give us some guidance on that, if he wants us to go by the book here, or if he wants us to have a kind of a standing open invitation to those home congregations.
Thank you. You can also, by the way, on the sim classes, they're not interactive, but they are informative, that you can look for them, and a bunch of them are stored on YouTube, and you can watch them. You get information, but it's not interactive, so you can't ask questions stuff, but it can give you some good information too. The next thing about the priesthood responsibilities and ethics and stuff is to talk about the worship. And from pages
going back to what you mentioned about the priesthood, in order to get credit, you have to register with those things and actually have a lot of times the sim courses will have the actual material as part of it, so you don't have to get the temple school classes material because it's already enclosed within the sim classes themselves. And sometimes, but anyway, if you want credit, you need to register for it,
Yes.
and then take your certificate of completion and get it, to the system with our, I don't know who in the mission center now is entering those for the mission center. I know who it used to be, who would enter those, completion certificates in the formal record on what's that new Shelby system. So I don't know who does that within the center at this point.
I did not mean to leave an impression that watching them on YouTube counted officially. It's just informational. Looking at the concept of worship from pages 6 through 9, there are pages that talk about 6 through 10 pages that talk about the elements of worship and the things that would be what are things that need to be done by priesthood members and what are things that just people can do because they have skills and capabilities. And basically, the easiest way to explain that is the things that only priesthood members can do. You'd say preaching. No, that's not. Presiding. No, that's not the case either. But priesthood is the only source of where we can find sacraments to be done. So if it's a sacrament that's involved, we need to use priesthood. And if we look back onto the schedule, the sacraments and ordinances, my current thinking is, and you guys can drive this, my current thinking is that in October the 30th, we would do sacraments and ordinances. And that would be where we will go over the 8 sacraments, who can do them, what are they, what goes into that sacrament, who says what prayer, and what needs to be said, those kinds of things. And I would bet that a lot of us are unsure of that. How many of those of the sacraments can be accepted by non-members? How many must be members? And then the other thing about the sacraments and ordinances that a lot of us have, what if I'm not a person who can perform that sacrament? Are there other things I can do to support the sacrament? And we can talk about those kind of things when we get to that date in greater detail. And if we don't finish something, that's okay. We'll push things back and we will finish up at the next priesthood meeting. So we're really trying to make this so that you get the information that you need. On page 9, we start talking about the worship commission and what goes into presiding, and the 3 things that most we as priesthood can usually do to guide and lead are the presiding, the preaching, and public prayer. Now, doesn't mean we're the only ones who can do that, but we can lead people, teach people, and demonstrate to people these elements of worship. And then finally, on page 11, there are some items 11 and 12 items to consider they're not presiding, preaching, or public prayer. Things the congregation should be informed of upcoming worship experiences. The worship space should be comfortable and clean. Last minute changes in the order of worship or the worship personnel should be kept to a minimum. They're just good best practice type things to be involved. I would say then that if you really want to get into this on pages 12 through 17, these are some of the pages that most talk about priesthood members getting into priesthood, into worship, and being successful at that. And it talks about everything from types of sermon to types of delivery and things like that. And all of us, I guarantee every one of us can learn from these things. So I haven't even gone through half of those 50 pages yet. There are samples in here. There's 2 sample things that I want to mention. And if you have a marriage to perform, there's a sample marriage uh, um, scenario that they go through, and they talk about the things to do and things to not do. They don't say don't get married. That's not, but they tell you, don't do this, don't do that, and do this and do that. So you get good advice. And then the same thing for funerals. And having us just had a whole spate of funerals, or they call it funerals in general, but it's celebration of life, memorial services, or funerals, burial services. I mean, all of these things. And when we look at that, I think that one of the things that we look at is how can I do this because I feel overwhelmed. I feel like I know when we did Anna McCall's, I was so tired. I felt like I needed to sleep for 3 days, and it really caused pain. The ministerial ethics, yes.
Yeah, I'd just like to mention that I do military funerals as well as ecumenical weddings that are reported directly to the First Presidency because I'm endorsed by the church. And so those don't necessarily are reported at the pastor and even at the apostle level. And David and I talked about that fact that I had reports directly to the First Presidency, just for your awareness.
On pages 26 and 27, there is a section that's ministerial ethics. There are 6 policies on page 26 and the top of page 27. There are 6 policies that the church endorses for looking at ethical behavior in priesthood members. And I'm going to have to be very brief because we're running out of time. But the things that it breaks it down into 3 areas. The first is the ethical principles, and the second is priesthood and promotion of private businesses. And it may not be a commercial business; it may be other things, but private industry. We're not supposed to promote our own private or our own public ambitions. And then privileged communications to a minister. The confidentiality is what they usually call the privileged communications to a minister. That is a biggie, and every one of us we really need to know what we're doing. It's very what we do today with texts, with phone messages, with emails, all of those things need to be protected, and that we have to be aware of that. So leaving our email up on a machine that that a visitor, a guest, or somebody in our house could come up and just see, sometimes even the title of it, of an email, can be revealing and I say dangerous to somebody's privacy. So we need to see those things and hear those things to respect people's privacy. And if you will keep these 50 pages or 50 something pages, we made it to page 28. We'll kind of pick up there, and we'll see that we cover everything. We'll have to cover some things faster sometimes, like tonight we just had to, but sometimes we'll be able to go into more depth. And so I'll leave that with you. But does anybody want to say anything about the sequence that's shown where we talked about worship and priesthood ethics tonight? Next month, we'll talk about priesthood roles and responsibilities. And then the next in October, we would talk about sacraments and ordinances. Does anybody recommend that we take those in a different order, or throw one of them out and bring in something different? Maybe there's something that really is nagging you and you'd like to. Yes, Scott?
Yeah, I didn't put it on the list, but I see it as something that's glaringly missing from the congregational viewpoint. Is I think we need a reference book where we show who we will refer people to on the mental health, as well as other areas that are beyond our priesthood capabilities. I know we used to have a couple of things that were listed, like the shelters in our
Yeah.
one of our past what are the directories, but I'm thinking of a reference book that would say who if somebody's got mental health problems and we can't handle them, who do we refer them to? If
Yeah.
somebody's got
Yeah, I know.
things that are beyond the priesthood level, uh, I know I always had to create those, as well as, I don't know if the mission center has that. It's even bigger. I would think a congregational level would probably be the best place for those reference books.
Yeah. Will Jeremy, Earl, and I will absolutely talk about that and bring it up and try to resolve. That's a very good question. We will add that to.
I got something I'd like to add on that nature. The Seattle Stake at one time came out with a list likened to that, but they found out there was a flaw that they didn't catch. And the flaw being, some agencies require police reporting or various other reportings for their funding. So in turn, you have to be careful who you recommend, and you make sure that the person you're sending them to them understand a requirement that that organization may have. So if you're sending somebody who has some potential spousal abuse or something, or a mental health issue, and this one group requires certain procedures to be followed, we can get ourselves into a can of worms on some of those.
We'll make sure we are aware of that. Absolutely. That's very good advice. We're about 4 minutes over on what we're doing. So Carol, now here, this section is things you guys brought up, sent in. Some of them you told us and we added them. When we sent out the link for this, you have the right to go in there and change that until as long as it says draft, until it says final. And you can add these things, and that's okay. But Carol's going to kind of negotiate how we talk. The things that are on that list will be on that list until they're addressed or resolved. And that list may grow big, and that's okay. But we're gonna chomp away at it, and she's going to try to give us some structure into how we can talk about it.
So we've had some issues for a while about some of us having difficulty climbing the stairs to get up to the podium. It used to be in the old days that we would have the ready room where we would meet everybody that was going to sit up on the podium, and we would meet and we'd have a prayer and then we'd go out. And so people didn't see you climbing up the steps. The steps were in the ready room. And just to let you know, we've been thinking about, some of us have thought about having a handrail in there, but then others have mentioned a handrail on the brick wall right over at the edge on the left-hand side, which would probably be more, I think people would like it better because you wouldn't have to go into the ready room. And so just to let you know, there's something being thought of about helping people get up the steps. A platform, a riser kind of, not a riser, what am I trying to, something that's, you don't have to go up the steps.
Yeah, like
A
a ramp.
Ramp.
A ramp, yes. That would have
Earl
to
was
probably
working on
be,
that.
that'd probably have to be very long to get up so it's not too steep. And so anyway, that's being worked on. People are looking at it, they're getting ideas. And what did you say, Ralph?
Earl was working on that. He had a ramp that was picked out, and they were going to put a permanent handrails on the left-hand side going up to what I call the rostrum or the stage. You can call it whatever. And he had one of the other members that's a carpenter or something looking at what would have to be done to mount it. And the ramp was a type that could be folded up and put back down. I think it would go up to the guardrail. I can't remember exactly, but Earl was working on something of that nature.
Carol,
Uh-huh.
can I have a moment?
Sure.
Ralph is correct. We had looked at that, but then I also got feedback that it would probably be good to clean up that ready room and put a rail in there and put a ramp in there. And the reason is because sometimes we use that space where we originally were, and that limits how we can use that space. I mean, just like what we're doing for story time, or if we continue to do communion on that corner, you can't do it on the other side. So what we're trying to think this through, and I think, and I think you make a good point. I personally, I think we ought to meet and pray before we go in, but it also allows people to come in from the side. So anyway, we are thinking all of that through. It's on our agenda, and whatever we come up with, we'll let everybody know.
Mm-hmm. Scott?
I just recommend that it's ADA compliant and that we have, so that wheelchairs and people who have disabilities are taken care of in that way. Also, I do think we need to talk about how we leave the rooms. I noticed, thankfully, I got there early, but the women and all Lonnie's stuff and so forth, we basically need 12 of the white chairs with the 2 tables set up. And I've got 3 candles now set up for the both the PTSD support group and the praise and the prayer and testimony service. So if it's going to be a shared space, like I say, I've got right now 12 chairs around 2 tables and 3 candles to represent the Trinity, and so that we can have more focused ministry when we do the prayer, the first classroom. So when we do those 2 programs on Wednesday night, I realized we got a lot of stuff that was donated to us from Lonnie, and then we also, I don't know if the women use the church as well. I think for their crafty ladies, and so we'll have to negotiate some of those things. But I'm just bringing forth what kind of requirement I would like as far as the 12 chairs and the 2 tables, and so that there's room. And of course, I like the 3 candles as well. So, of course, those can change with different functions and stuff. I understand, but in the chapel when I was pastoring, we had a book of how places were supposed to uh, be set up, so to speak. I like the area in the fellowship hall needed to have this configuration. And talking about configurations, another thing that could be thought of in the future would be um, those white chairs are very convenient. And, I know a lot of churches have gone to not having the actual, what's it called, the pews, but actually having chairs in different configurations to allow for circle worship and a lot of different things. That's just an idea. We could talk about that later, and that's more for the pastor to make decisions about. But it was a good idea, I thought, to have that manual where we knew how everything was supposed to be set back to when, and like I said, having chairs has given some congregations more flexibility than the pews themselves. I also think
Kathleen?
we could use professional material in our like recording and other things. I know it would cost, but I think that would be something that would be beneficial, so that each of those little cameras doesn't have to be changed, but if we had the actual projector camera that looked at, was already set to where it didn't have to be set up, that could possibly save time for those that are working on the technician in the background if they had that already.
Scott, this is
Kathleen?
Earl. I think this subject is better for a different forum than the one we have tonight. And 2, we do have the 3rd classroom, and it's not used for anything except for the folks that come in on Saturday mornings. Other than that, it's never used. It's got the tables in there. It's got chairs in there, and it's less likely to be used like the big classroom is. So anyway, make sure you look at all the options, and we're working on getting that stuff out of the middle classroom, but right now we're not using that middle classroom. So anyway, I disagree. Those are things that we need to discuss, but I'm not sure
I got it.
this is the right forum.
I know we used to use that middle classroom for when Carol White used to do massages and things in there. And I also know we had a group of youth that used that middle classroom, and he's going to be gone for a year now, Jackson.
He's
But
already gone. He's already
anyway,
gone. So
anyway, yeah, these things can be discussed offline. You're correct.
Kathleen?
I was just going to briefly respond that, but I can take my response offline. So never mind. I don't want to take up the time of everybody.
Okay. I just wanted to suggest name tags. Several people have mentioned name tags, that it's a wonderful way for people to feel comfortable when they're guests and they come in. And so I know we don't decide anything here, but I just wanted to put it out there to think about it. And next Sunday I'm presiding, and we're going to put a stick-on name tag when we come in and just see. That's not the kind we would use, but it'll give us a chance to see how we feel about it. Okay? Okay.
good idea.
And so then the next thing is children's ministry. We're having 6 children in our Sunday school class now, and it's wonderful. We're so excited about it. Kathleen's the teacher, and Michelle teaches crafts, and they kind of do it at the same time, and the kids are eating snacks, and it's wonderful. And they're getting familiar with us, and they're getting comfortable. You noticed Henry went up to the front with me Sunday without his dad. He took my hand and went up there, and so I'm so happy.
We were all happy.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes. There's a nursery sign-up sheet. The first Sunday that we had the children's class, we also had 2 babies, two little ones in the nursery. We're going to have people use their phone to pull up the church service when they're in there if they want to hear it. And but we haven't had any in there since then. And so we've had nobody want to sign up on the sheet other than Kathleen and me. But it's not something that we need every Sunday. I don't know how we're going to work that. We'll just kind of have to watch and see, is there a baby in there? Maybe the mother would like to go to services instead of sit back there. We'll just play it by ear, I think. And I've also asked for somebody to volunteer to be a sub. We need a sub, 2 subs. And it's not often that you would have to teach the class or do the crafts, but no one has stepped forward. So please think about that. And if you know of somebody that would like to do it, please give me their name or ask them to see me.
I would just I want to point out on that, Carol, that we do want to make sure that you are youth worker registered.
Yes.
And honestly, folks, if you're a priesthood member, you really ought to be youth worker registered anyway. I'm not the recorder, so I don't know who is and who is not, but we certainly do want to have that safety.
If you
And
aren't,
whenever we're, yeah.
I have a question on that.
If you aren't, see me.
Okay. Thank
Well,
you.
can I ask a real quick question on that? Because Ralph and I were registered youth workers up in Washington. Would that transfer down here and stuff? Because we were. It goes
registered youth workers are administered through the local pastor and mission center, but are kept on file at the World Church level. So it's a World Church level recognition. In fact, it's a World Church level program. And so if you've been registered, that is recognized in the Shelby system as that you are, regardless of jurisdiction.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and now Carol White is going to talk about the children's storytelling time. Carol, you're muted.
Okay, am I unmuted?
You are.
Okay. As you've noticed, for several weeks and months, we had story time. And now it's officially decided we're going to have it every Sunday as a part of the worship. We will have story time. And we've already made place for a permanent part where we can store the books, and mostly that's just the books. Carol Ann pointed out there's several books in the library that you can choose from, but there will be other materials that I have in my possession right now, that when I get through using them, since I'm doing story time for the whole month of September and October, so since I'm doing that, I've got the main resource, but I'll put them back in this file cabinet. I think Carol Ann knows where it is. Can you tell us where it is? Where we store the worship?
It's the big wooden cabinet in the nursery.
Okay. So that's where the materials are when you're gonna, and like I said, I'm gonna do all of September and October, but then I'm going to schedule people to do story time through the worship commission and put it on the 4-month planner. So that way you will know that you have story time for that that particular month. And that means that you're responsible for the story time every Sunday. But if you can't do the story time, then you need to get someone that will do it for you. But you'll be on the 4-month planner to do that. The storyteller needs to check with the presider to make sure that the story that they've chosen is okay, or if the story that they've chosen is going to be okay because it's going to be from our materials, but maybe the presider wants a specific story that goes to a theme or something, so he needs to check with the presider. But because you're on the 4-month planner and you know who the presiders and speakers are, you have plenty of time, other than maybe the first Sunday, but you have plenty, or that last month that's on the 4-month planner, you have plenty of time to check with the presider and do that in advance and be ready in advance. You don't have to do it Saturday night, like I've sometimes done it. Okay. The storytellers are going to, if we're encouraging, if the book that you're using to tell the story has pictures, we're encouraging that you give Kathleen Cole that book so she can make those pictures into whatever it is, the magic that she does, kind of like those green clouds that are flowing behind her. So she can make the stories for the congregation, and the congregation can see what the children are seeing. However, that won't, it's not mandatory, and that won't always be the case. For example, the story I'm going to do for the first Sunday, I'm going to have a picture, but it's not really one that's in the book because there isn't any. It's a very, very short story. And that's the question too. While this story time is not to exceed 5, I would say we could go 5 to 8 minutes. But 10 minutes starts to be almost too long because you still have to give the child time enough to walk up there and then walk back to their seat. And if you took up that whole 10 or 12 minutes telling the story, then we had another 4 or 5 minutes, you know, with the logistics of getting there and getting back. That takes up too much time in the for that particular item of worship. So you need to make sure that the story is short. If it's very short, like, you know, 30 seconds or a minute, think of, I don't think there would be 30 seconds, but let's say it's just a couple of minutes. Think of a question or something that you want to engage that child and have the child be able to engage with you about whatever the subject is. I know that sometimes we have mic issues and speaking issues, and if that gets to be too cumbersome, we'll just have to kind of play that by ear. I don't know that the child has to have the microphone, because the storyteller can repeat whatever is said or question that's asked by the child, so the congregation knows. And while my personal belief about that is, while story time, we want the congregation to know story time is for the children. So as long as they hear it and they engage with you and you engage with them, that's the idea. And the good news about having a storyteller be the same one for the whole for the whole month, that person really gets to engage with that child, and you can start to become friends with that child, because I encourage you then, after that time, speak with it. You'll have an ongoing relationship with that child, and you can speak to them at church. I know we do already, but you can speak to them with a little bit more closeness of relationship, is the best way I can describe it. Once you've engaged that child for stories for every 4 months, for every week. And while I'm going to, story time is not just for the past priesthood to do. I'm going to encourage all members of the congregation to participate, and we'll, see if they will, and, put them in there. Yes, Richard, you have a question?
I just had a comment. What you were just talking about, building the relationship with the kids. This was a great problem to have, which was that, Carol, this last Sunday, Henry felt comfortable to come up and by himself, right? And he also felt comfortable to sit real close to you when you were sharing story time with him. And he outsmarted us because we didn't have the camera set up for him to be that close to you. And all of a sudden, we couldn't see him as well as we wanted to. And so I was like, what a great problem to have that we need to now adjust where we have the cameras positioned so that it can capture the whole experience. But I loved that that happened, and we'll make our adjustments. But I thought it was wonderful that he's feeling more comfortable and more
Yes.
confident up there in that space.
Well, when I was, unfortunately, when I was growing up in the church, I had Emma Jackson, as did Carol Ann. and we got scheduled to do lots of stuff. Now, we usually did it through music and choir, but we did it through other things too. So growing up in this church, you get to be a participant in activities from about age 8 on. Actually, by the time you can read, just about. And that's a good thing. But this story time does allow the child plenty of growing up time to be familiar with a congregation. And when they're asked to literally participate in worship in a more formal way, it's easy for them. And they don't feel so frightened. So that's why one of the good things I like about story time.
Carol.
And I think that's all I needed. Oh, if anybody needs training or practice or ideas or suggestions, I'll be happy to work with anybody doing story time.
Carol.
And that, yes.
One other thing I think we wanted to emphasize was that many times the scripture, the worship helps, has lots of things suggested in the service, for the service. And we do not, and so you have to leave some things out. You can't always get every single thing in there that's suggested, but we do not want story time left out. We want to make sure that we always include that.
No, I agree. I agree. And I thought I've stressed that enough, but maybe not. No, story time will be a permanent piece of the Sunday worship every time.
And I think it's good that it's a permanent piece, but I can tell you, being the first one, I didn't have enough time. I didn't see whether the story was matched up with the theme. Also, the spiritual discipline aspect, I wasn't going to cut it. No, because that's something that was valid to the service as well, the Visio Divina.
I wouldn't worry about having the story matching the theme too much. As long as it's a Bible story or a moral code story or a service story, something like that. If it doesn't really match the theme, it's nice if it does, but it doesn't have to. Because I'm not sure. I don't think Henry, 3-year-old Henry, gets whether it's matched to the theme or not. He just likes the story.
Well, the theme was about awe.
Understood.
And I thought Jesus walking on water was pretty much about awe.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Just,
anyway.
just
Okay,
an update.
And yeah, it was good.
I just wanted to give you an update. Henry's 4 now. He will tell you
Oh,
that.
excuse
He
me.
just,
Okay.
yeah, he just had a birthday last week, so you know.
Okay, so it just turned 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Henry's very I noticed you're right. He's very comfortable with story time. He asks questions, he speaks, he talks, well, I don't know, he didn't ask many questions, but he answers your questions.
Yeah.
So he does participate.
Yeah.
Great. I love it. Jim, I guess we're finished. Thanks, Carol.
Well, we have to do the offertory.
You wanted to talk about the offertory, you and Patty?
Yeah. I think both Patty and I had suggestions to talk about it. So, Patty, do you want to go first? Or?
Yeah, I just want to emphasize, because all of you are presiders. And when you are presiding, whoever you choose and whoever accepts to do the disciples' generous response, just encourage them to please use the word receiving the offertory and not collecting. Receiving sounds more worshipful to me, and I think that's the way Jesus was. He received people, he received things. He didn't collect them. Jesus wasn't in the job of collecting things.
Yeah,
So just please.
Collecting sounds more like
a requirement.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say an obligation. That's not what we.
Right. So
It's
just
not
just
gentle.
right. Exactly. Yeah. So please just have the folks that do that, please encourage them to use the word receiving.
And the reason that Patty mentions that is because that's what we were told when we became priests. That was drilled into us. So it's still there.
Yeah. The reason
done,
that
Jim.
the reason I felt I wanted to say something was that one of the things that is a wording statement, but that just breaks my heart, is sometimes the wording that we use diminishes the gift. And my my easiest example of this is when people talk on Oblation Sunday, which is the first Sunday of the month, which is Communion Sunday. Sometimes they'll say any loose change is going to go to the oblation, and saying loose change goes to the oblation kind of hurts me because uh, you think back to the widow and her mite and the giving of all that you have may be a bigger thing to you than somebody who looks at loose change. We really, I think we really need to make sure that when we're talking, that we're doing it from the aspect of an act of worship. And the act of worship is the giving. I have just come forward. I've just had the meal of a lifetime to reconsecrate myself to God and to Christ's way, and 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 then when I give to the oblation, I'm trying to give in a way that mimics the gift of God and Jesus to me. And it doesn't add up. It's not a transaction, and it's not that it equals or zeros out or anything like that, but it's that it comes from the same place. And the wording I would use in a case like that is any funds that aren't assigned to something else go to oblation and and are very blessed. And thank you for those gifts. And then I don't go take up those gifts or collect those gifts. I rather receive them with open hands that are similar to Jesus' open hands. And anyway,
I agree 100%, Jim.
yeah.
Jim, you want to quickly talk about the preparation process for Zoom services?
Yeah. When we go in and have an 11 o'clock service on Sunday, a lot went into that service that in some cases with both Patty and with our dear departed Lila, that may have started 3-4 weeks before. But they're planners. They are planners. But then anyway, somewhere between the Sunday before and the Sunday we're going to have a service, a lot happens to a bunch of slides and stuff. When I first started saying I would time the hymns and so forth, I remember I don't have the exact quote, but I put out that if I can get the slides by Monday or Tuesday, I can turn them back by Wednesday or Thursday. My idea was my deadline is Thursday night. I still haven't done, I have done them. I haven't sent out this week's slides yet because I still have 3 hours and 10 minutes to do that. I send them out. Then after I send them out, oh, well, that's done. We're ready for Sunday. No, because then Miranda takes those slides and puts them and the presider's presider's template that they're going to script, the presider's script, and makes a technician script out of it. And that technician script should be distributed out to the technicians, the tech people, in time for them to study it and be aware of it before the 3 o'clock Saturday meeting. So basically, she's got a Friday deadline, more or less, and when we don't get our part into that, somebody is going to be changing and rearranging their schedule so that when it does come, they're available to do it because it's going to get done. We know it's going to get done. It always gets done. But we need to respect the people who are doing this. Patty, if Patty doesn't get the things that she needs to create the slides until Wednesday, it makes it very hard on Patty, me, Miranda. It balloons up for everybody, and the so I am going. I have to make a change to it because I need to add Miranda's part to it, but I'm going to make a little self watched PowerPoint and send it to the priesthood, only the priesthood. I'm not going to send it out because someone somewhere will misuse it. I will beg you guys, don't go sharing it with other people and showing it to other people. This is something for how we as priesthood can show leadership in worship. And I'll send this out on a link. It'll be a YouTube on a private video so that only you with the link can watch it, and just see what happens, what goes into what, and try to see if you can change whatever part you're doing to fit into a flow that gets us an 11 o'clock service with fewer ulcers. So I'll send that out.
Okay, Misty, do you want to speak to, oh, were you through, Jim?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Misty, do you want to speak to maybe some things you're thinking about doing extra for the angel, in addition to the angel tree, just to give us a forewarning and prepare us?
Well, some of the things that I was thinking of, I back up in Washington, I was the social director, and we always had a community social once a month up there. We invited, the community to come into the church and things. So I was kind of hoping to maybe do once a month social or something like that, which could be, we're coming up into the holiday season, which a lot of people, a lot of churches I know do like trunk or treating and stuff like that for their neighborhoods. You could do it like that on a Saturday afternoon, something like that. Or do a community dinner. I've done those and stuff like around Thanksgiving. I've just unfortunately have just noticed more and more of the homeless population making their way down towards the church and down Military and Huebner where we live and stuff. So I'm seeing there's some need to help some of these people, and if we could open the church for a meal or something for them, or if anybody has a idea on that. Another thing is I mean, with the angel tree, that's done with the Salvation Army, but as I'm working with the Salvation Army, volunteering more and more, the bell ringers, those are actually, a lot of them are church members that are out there putting the name of their church along with the Salvation Army. They're partnering with the Salvation Army to get their church recognized and collecting money, of course, for the Salvation Army. And they're asking for people to help out with that. So if our congregation is willing to sign up, and you only do it for like a 2-hour period. So if you have 4 people do one Walmart, it's 30 minutes per person to do it. And it goes by pretty fast, I was told. And that's basically, I think, it, unless somebody else has any more ideas. That's all I can think of at the moment. Carol?
I've kind of thought that it might be nice to have a Thanksgiving dinner on a Sunday right around Thanksgiving, especially for those that don't have family or don't have a dinner they go to. Instead of the potluck, we could have a turkey and all the trimmings that went with it.
I would be willing to do that.
We actually had some members who were liking what you said, and they actually got together and used the church and had their Thanksgiving at the church. And multiple families that didn't have anybody in the area would actually show up and go to that.
And so, but I mean, one of the things I used to do up there was we would always have the Saturday before Thanksgiving, we had a harvest dinner, which was always brought in a crowd of at least 200 people, and I would cook the meal for them and stuff, which,
wow.
I love it. You know me, I love to bake and cook and stuff. And I mean, it was a lot of love. And then afterwards, we would always have a sing-along, just, an impromptu, whoever wanted to, we had a couple of guys would bring their guitars, and we had one gal who played the piano, and we'd just throw out hymns and say, let's sing this hymn or this song or whichever. And it was always a lot of fun.
I love this. This is a great idea. And I do think there's a lot of people in close proximity to our congregation that would benefit from that. So like we've done community yard sales in the past, but this would be something kind of along that line where we open the church and invite the community in. And I mean, we could, we have a company that we have ordered banners from before. I would think that we could definitely do that, under our outreach line item, choose a day and a time and start advertising that on a banner out front. I don't know, like mid-October maybe, and that would give folks, a few weeks notice. I think it's great. I think it's a great outreach opportunity. I love it.
That might be an opportunity too to make sure that those getting on and off the bus are able to see it right there at that bus stop. Right. We have a banner there in the yard, but if it's right there as they get off the bus and visible right there where the bench is, that might be helpful.
Well, that and also that school across the street there, a lot of those kids will see it and everything, and their parents.
That actually kind of goes with, I always felt we needed a new church sign, and I would love to see one that we can put a message on.
But yeah, with putting a banner up.
Misty, in your planning, just you need to let me know whenever you want to use that fellowship hall as much in advance as possible, because I'll rent it if no one's told me. So,
oh yeah, believe me, you'd know and stuff.
okay.
Because
So, I mean, I put it on my calendar on my phone, and that's what I check. And church comes first, but I need to know.
right.
Okay?
No, I will. Like when I don't think we would do the trunk or treating this year, but get more ideas of it. But I think the Thanksgiving dinner thing would be more. And
I don't need a date right now. I'm just letting you know when y'all decide on the date. Let me know.
No, but I'll give you at least 2 months advance notice.
Yeah, okay. Kathleen likes me to rent the church, so okay.
Oh, I know.
All right.
Okay, it's 9 o'clock. I think we're going to stop. we wanted to hold it right to the time for y'all, so we'll pick up next time with anything we didn't answer. Richard?
I just wanted to say before we break off, Jim, I know you sent out the email, and there may have been others involved, but I really appreciate all the effort, the work that went into the handout document that was put together. I think it's wonderful information, and I really appreciate the work that we see it and we can go through it, but there was hours that went into it. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to kind of piggyback on Richard. I've been through a lot of, like the rest of us, been through a lot of priesthood meetings, but I thought this was the most beneficial one I've ever been in. So my hat's off to y'all.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Well, while your hat's off, go ahead, Carol.
I was just going to say, see you Sunday.
Well, not yet. While your hat's off, Earl, let's go ahead and bow our heads in prayer. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Our kind and gracious Creator, we thank you so much for being with us and flowing through the spirit of discussion and hearing and speaking and listening and all that we did. And we are so glad for the time that has been invested in helping us become better servants of yours. We ask that you would continue to have us be aware of and practice grace with each other, grace with our congregation, and grace with ourselves. Make us each aware that we need to be a safe place. We need to be a safe place for each other. We need to be a safe place for the congregation. And we need to be a safe place in this world, which is filled with things that aren't safe. Help us to always show humility, humbleness, and help us always honor everyone in our congregation, in our this team that we have, ourselves. Help us to honor people in the world. Make us aware of, make us try to claim the name among men that we are those with open eyes, open arms, open hearts. And as we step through life, let us be the hands and feet of your Son, Jesus. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, guys, I'm going to put out another thing like the agenda. I'm going to put out an agenda for the next meeting, and please follow that link, go to it and add things. Put that you can add a note. If you say, I don't know what to say here, but I'm going to add a note and it'll show up in a box. And then the next time we log on, everybody can see that note and they can add. So please do that. And these are our meetings, all of us. It's not Jeremy's and Jim's and Carol's and Earl's. It's all of us. So please, thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Bye. Thank you.
Love y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Love you. Take care, Jay.